Rudy is, so Skip is breaking, but Rudy is, we're deep in on the winner's side. I expect a pretty good match.
That was a 6 mile per hour break clocked on our radar gun. Thank you to Renew Cali Solar for sponsoring our radar gun this evening. We appreciate that.
All right, so Rudy's at the table looking at that break. Now he's shooting quick. Is he kicking soft into the back of his 11? No, he's just sizing things up. Apparently he can't cut the 7, and it's a little scary, that 10-11. I'm not sure if it's wired, but it might go. So I think he's got to deal with that. It's a pretty big shot here. First shot in a race to 3 after a interesting break. So he is just going to, I think that's essential. I think if those balls were wired, then that's absolutely the right shot. So nicely done. And now with that 7 ball there, even though all the balls are favoring Skip, Rudy might, even though the balls are favoring Skip, that 7 ball puts a lot of pressure on him as he faces this shot. So it looks like he's got to get to the top left portion of the table. Maybe he can chip off the 9. Is that what he's looking at? Or he might even come all the way back down off the 9. That's pretty hard to control.
Do we have Josh on the stream right now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just a quick reminder to everybody, we are raffling off this Poison Break Jump Cue. You guys have been donating all day. The current top donation is $250. Those donations will be cut off in 15 minutes from now. And whoever's leading the most donations for today will automatically win that cue.
Thank you for supporting the stream, all. All right, so he did what I was talking about, just chipped off the 9. He might have elected to kick one rail behind the 7, but I'm guessing he was half hooked off the 11. He couldn't have, if he had a natural one rail kick, I think he might have chose that. So now Rudy might just be able to cross this 5. The only thing is that 7 ball's a really big ball, so it's a choice between playing another ball towards your pocket or protecting what you already have. He went ahead and tried to add another ball, but it didn't really work out quite as well.
Yeah, the cue ball needed to be a little tighter there to not leave the 9.
Yeah, I know it's tempting to want to put another ball in your pocket, but he can't really run that many even if he made it. And with the 9 and 15 in play, I think he might have been better taking something out and just playing cue ball and protecting the 7. But anyway, first game, it's a big match. It's, your heart's going. At least we speculate that his heart may be beating. Who's to say?
It's awesome.
No, I'm not sure if this combo's not. Apparently it's not, or he'd already be shooting.
Okay, yeah, if he's already started dismissing it, yeah.
So this looks like a one rail kick is one option, but I think you got to give yourself, what another option is that I kind of like is you can also shoot the 14 into the top of the 9 and just play the cue ball with high right to the end rail, back through where it's at up to the top rail. You might be leaving shots, but I'm just saying, I always like to give myself more than one option. I never like to just, the combo. Oh, he's just slow rolling us. Went the whole time. He's just, I wonder if that's a little game. I know it's not, but a little gamesmanship, let Skip kind of think that he might be safe and then start shooting the balls in. Oh, look at this. He's going to go ahead and just give him this ball.
Conservative, yeah.
I'm not sure if maybe he didn't have a look at the 7, or maybe he just figured if he made the 7, it would be hard to get another ball. So
he could have made the 7 and still got cue ball table and stuff in that.
Yeah, he might have thought that there was some value in having that ball near his pocket, but I think it's far enough away. I think you're right. I think having the extra ball is more important than. But anyway, you know what though? Whenever somebody chooses a shot that they can do 1,000 times in a row, it's hard for me to be too critical because he just rolled that ball in. He didn't take any. If he shoots the 7 and misses, or even makes it and gets where he's hooked on that 9, it could have gotten silly. So he, or if he missed the 7, try to get up table for a shot at the 9. So I don't mind him just playing kind of. It was Skip's break. If he can get out of it, he's done his job. But this is surprisingly tricky. He's kind of going into the rack, man. There's a lot of ways to chip the 4 here, and
I was just thinking he could clip something, and
he played it really well though. He took all that into account and did a really good job. Opened the 6 up on his side, got him behind these balls. Well done. now it looks like Skip's going to have to just probably play off the 8 here. And, maybe he could play it back with the low ball behind the 7. It's a little risky with that corner there. It's hard to control. Oh, okay. That's a better way to play it. Got a ball on his side. These guys are playing good. Look at this. We watched a few matches yesterday that were a little earlier in the tournament, and there was a few early round hiccups. And now we're getting to the deep part where we've got some really good players, and they are in the stroke. So far, this has been very well played, and Rudy had him in a little trouble, and no problem. He put the 1 on his side and got right back.
Is he going to kick behind him here down there?
It's pretty hard to spin it enough, to really guarantee. But you could either, if he could see the 1, he could do the same shot, or even off the 8 is pretty good. He's got a pretty good wall to go into, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Josh, I don't know if you've been watching much of the tournament today, but Rudy earlier took Oscar Dominguez out of the winner's side, so he can play.
Yeah. Playing good, yeah.
Yeah, this is a very symmetrical position. If you look at it, it's very interesting. They've not only are the balls almost symmetrical, but they've been using the same shot back and forth and leaving each other. I mean, this is just a very interesting exchange in that round. I can't remember seeing anything quite like that before in one pocket where it's like the mirror image. In fact, I would predict that Rudy's heart rate is currently 87.
Sam, I have a question for you.
Send it.
Do you when they're shooting these shots, do you think they're getting them? I mean, they're both playing great, of course, but just getting the cue ball just a little tighter. Like, kind of, see, you can make a bridge there on that shot. The last one, he had a good, trying to get it a little more frozen or trying to get a little bit more out of it, or do you think it's fine the way they're doing it?
I think the problem was when they were doing those jacked up shots and trying to slide down. Here, look at the cue ball here. The difference was last time they were drawing off a ball, and you just can't get close to the corner, so you just can't. The value of really locking them up is offset by the risk of drawing it right into that bottom corner.
Well, not necessarily locking up, but just getting a little closer to frozen, or like the last shot that he shot, he kind of left them out in space and.
Oh, for sure. It's important. And all I'm saying is that when the guy has a rolling cue ball and can play it with a rolling ball, half ball hit, side spin, you notice that his cue ball is much tighter. When they're elevating and drawing off a ball from jacked up, it's just hard to control your speed. And I'm sure there's truth in what you're saying. You've got to make a priority on the cue ball. If they were sacrificing their cue ball to try to play their ball to their side, then that would be a mistake. But I just think that it's hard to always get the, when you're drawing the ball to the end rail. I find it hard to freeze on the rail when you're jacked up drawing off a ball. But it's a shot that the one pocket players seem to hit pretty good. Boy, if he can't hit the 4, I would say that Skip is in a bit of a trap. One option is to come off the bottom of the 6 to the rail into the back of the 4. Oh, this is good. He could shoot the bank on the 8 and kind of draw towards the bottom side of the 4. Very scary shot the way he played it. Yeah, I think he needed to drag more towards the 4, but he got it. Oh, look at this. Not only did he got that ball. It seems a little fortunate the way he played it. It seemed like there was more, a very, very tight window between the 7 and the pocket the way he played it. But he, to be fair, he might have tried to slide over to the 4 and just caught it a little deep. But kind of like what you're saying, Josh, I think the priority there is the cue ball. And if he was really going all up to make the bank, or then again, maybe if you just say, I'm just going to bet the game on the bank, and if I get safe, I get safe, but I'm going to try to make the 8. There's different ways of doing it. If he felt good on the bank, I guess, he almost made it.
Seemed like I don't know. Go ahead.
No, that's it.
No, I don't know if he was betting the game there. He just kind of,
Okay, this is always, and I've said this on the commentary yesterday, this is one of the most important shots in the set. You've got to shoot the hanging ball, and then you've got to get another shot. Now, fortunately, the one ball is sitting to where if he comes out to the middle of the table, he'll have a good shot to run balls. I like using a half ball hit because it's the most forgiving. And so if you make a slight miss hit, it changes the cue ball's path the least and the speed and direction. If you try to thin this ball and, get cute, it's easy to chip it a little thin and go all the way up table. Here it was a little thinner than I like it. See, here he's just a little flatter than I like it.
A little flatter. Yeah, I was thinking about kind of dribbling out.
All right, he made the 1. He's got options to look at this. He's going to be very disciplined. He's going to draw off the 4 here and try to get him beyond the 7. The only thing is he doesn't really have anything near enough his hole to protect. He played good cue ball, but I don't really know that there's, I would have been really tempted if I were him to kind of like, maybe try to move some balls, like ship that 11 a little closer to the pocket and maybe draw back to the side rail. But he hasn't done anything. He's playing very ABC. He's not going to do anything that's going to sell out. So, and this here, oh boy, he just left the 2, and
yeah,
he could very easily drag the cue ball behind the 10-6, and it's hard to make the ball when you're using like kind of this touchy, draggy little shot, and watching the cue ball, but he did. He didn't even worry about it. He just said, that's probably the right way to play it.
Yeah. And the 14 goes, seems like.
Yeah, I think so. And definitely the 311 definitely is in play. So.
Yeah. You can get the 14 out of that.
Just got to stay off the rail and everything's good. And if he can make the 14, he might even be able to pop into the 3. But I think playing the combo is pretty good here. Oh, yeah, he's got to play the combo. And then you're a little bit worried about the 3 locking up with the 14, the way they are kind of now. But in the end, I mean, he's got 4. If he makes 5 and has the initiative, whatever you do, you don't want to miss the 11 trying to worry too much about that stuff.
The same thing, yeah. He's got. Yep.
Boy. Well, he should be okay to make another ball. Not too elevated here, and it's a pretty good shot here.
All right, guys, real quick. We have 3.5 minutes for donations. That's it. It's cutting off at 8:45 Pacific time. If you want to make a donation for that jump cue, you have 3 minutes.
I'll tell you, he played it well. He didn't try to worry too much about like trying to get cute, get a shot. And now I'm not sure about this. If I'm up 6-0 on ball count, I'd probably just be taking out the 7 here, putting it up by the 3.
Yeah, that's it.
But you know what?
You do that. No.
No, really. I mean, it's hard to argue.
Yeah, now he's got it in the hole and on 7 ball.
It's hard to argue with that. Yeah, he banks really well. Rudy's a heck of a banker, I'll tell you that.
Mm.
And now you've got to shoot the combo because conceding the 4, you just leave him a bank on the 3 anyway. So it looks like he conceded that a little bit before he shot the combo. Well, Rudy's up 1-0, and he's got the break. Let's see. This break is going to be pretty big here. Oh, that 8 ball leaked out, and I think he left the bank on the 7. This is exactly what Skip needed here. Oh, whoa. Am I mixing up the players?
I think you are, because I think Skip just won the game. Yeah.
Oh, really? Am I mixing this up?
According to the screen, Skip's up 1-0.
Oh, I'm sorry, everybody. Hang on. It's tough with the camera views. I only get to see like the people, their cues, and then they're wearing masks. Okay, blue hat is Skip, right?
Yeah, Skippy's the one in the shooting right now. Let me go to the side.
Yeah,
that's Skippy.
Okay, so that's Skippy. So did Skippy win the last game? Okay, I'm sorry, everybody. I was mixed up then. My apologies.
Yeah, Skippy did win the last game.
Okay, well, the Skip shot really well. Boy, he made a great bank. Okay, so everything I said about Rudy last night, I meant it for Skip.
The same thing. I was like, yeah, exactly. Kind of reverse everything that you put it at.
Like Willy Wonka. Strike that. Yeah. Okay, so a little embarrassed. Okay. Well, I think you got to take on this 8 ball because then you get a bank at the 9, and it seems pretty reasonable and free, and you don't have to shoot it with any excessive speed. So
yeah, he's looking at it right now.
Okay.
This is great because if he makes this, well, you'd want to. I was thinking if he would stay down a little bit, stay up a little higher.
Yeah, you got a little thin, huh?
Yeah, you got a little thin on it because then you could.
And this is a little bit hard to bet because if you make it,
or whatever this other stripe. But,
yeah, if you make it, you only get one. If you miss it, you give up a bunch. So he did the right thing and thought,
move him towards his side.
Get a little pivot. Now here, you've got a lot of balls on your side. So, one thing I'm looking at is like kicking into the stack. I don't even mind always taking a foul here is one option. Just something that comes to mind is just kind of kicking into between the 11 and 10. It's one option. You could try to scrape the 9 and do that, but it's hard because you need a little left spin maybe, and maybe you nudge the 14. So, okay, let's see what he does. He might do that. He might try to scrape the 9 and see. It's just hard. He did it. He got there with the left spin. Good shot. I find that difficult. He probably had a little bit better angle than I thought because he hit it a little thick and still got it there.
There's nothing with the 4 here down, I guess.
Well, I guess with all those balls that go, I think he could have maybe left them in the top left corner. Yeah.
The top right up there, right? Yeah.
Yeah. That if he leaves them up as we look at the screen, if the top left. So, yeah, I think he could maybe bank the 4 up towards his hole, but he's going to just bank this and park him on the end rail. Okay.
Just want to give a quick shout out to Zach Batriel. Congratulations. You have won the Poison Break Jump Cue. I will be in touch with you tomorrow for shipping arrangements. Congratulations. We are still taking donations for the $1,200 Jacoby Custom Cue. $5 will get you 1 ticket. Thank you so much.
Now, I think Skip did Skip have the same pocket both times? So they both break. They both chose to keep their same pocket. And maybe I got confused because the names, Skip is on the right and Rudy's on the left, which is totally fine. I just need to remember that. So I think maybe I got suckered by the names. Okay. So he's going to Karam bank the 9 or just straight out bank it. Okay. He needed to get over more because otherwise he could shoot the 15 here. He really needed to get that all the way to the side rail to cut off this bank. But again, even if he makes it, he only gets 1. And good shot. Good shot. Now, do you just play conservative and take out the 9, or do you try to find a way to put some pressure on the guy? 3 rail to 5, maybe. Stick him on the 6-3. Little risky. If you 3 rail to 5, the problem is if it gets near your hole, you're not able to protect it. So if it doesn't go in, unless you get behind the 9 ball. He was trying to come all the way back beyond the 9 to protect it. And look at this. Well,
Mickey Mouse.
He's Mickey Mouse. He's not in any trouble. He could scrape off this and maybe go 2 rails into the pack or some which way.
I think it had to be really hit hard to get it to come all the way around.
Well, the problem was he had to cut it. He had to shoot it higher into the first rail, closer to the 4, and he was trying to play the cue ball behind the 9 to cover it, which kind of took away the shot. But anyway, no big deal. Okay, so now Skip. He's up 2-0. He's up a game. He's up 2-0, and he's out of the break. It should be. But Rudy made a big comeback. Oh, and speaking of which, I wonder, I wouldn't be surprised to see Rudy go for this bank and just send the cue ball all the way upstream. He did it before and left that 8 ball. That's how he got those 2 balls. I'd be surprised to see him not swing at this. Then again, he could also just bank the 14 over and just play the cue ball up, more of a safety. But it's hard to pass on a bank like this. When you're in stroke and you've been playing all day and feeling pretty good on these banks, and it's tough, man. But you got to go, and he didn't necessarily sell out the game here. I mean, there's 1, but how do you get a lot here? And the risky thing is if you go at the 13 and try to tickle them open, you might just trap yourself because now that 9's near the hole. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Skip make this and just get the 9 out of there. Just play shape for a good takeout. I think that's prudent, especially when you're up a game and 3-0. I see a lot of people get in trouble there trying to ram into the balls from the wrong side, and then they open everything up and wedge themselves, and the guy's got a ball hanging. I think that was good table management there. Now that 8 might carry him off the 2 and go towards his pocket. That's one. Yeah. Well,
I did have the 10, yeah, but
go off the 10. Yeah. But those balls have a tendency to pick up some spin off that ball and kind of go towards the end rail. I've noticed that. Like, they always kind of carry them a lot thicker than you think they're going to. And so, but nothing wrong. He didn't get in any trouble here. But
Jim, is there a certain number or count where you start thinking about moving them up table versus not moving them up table for like a game management standpoint?
Yeah, I think 3 balls. I'm not necessarily I'm not there yet. Like, I think if I was up 5-0, that's what I'd be like, okay, we want to set him out of play. 3-0, I don't mind sending him out of play, but it's not like a huge priority. So I think if he sends him up table, it's only because that's just how the balls were laying more than just to protect his lead. Like, he didn't really have anything he could do. He couldn't clear the 3-6. He couldn't really do much with the 13. So he's just like, well, keep it. It was a very safe play to just shoot that 8 out of there. And same here. He's just going to scrape this ball. And I'll tell you,
I just meant in general, not necessarily that particular.
Yeah, I would say 4 to 5 balls probably. I think 3 balls. You're still a long, long way from 8, and I don't mind if there's a way I could get an advantage. I'm okay with the balls being down table still if I'm only up 3-0. Yeah. Okay, that's a good shot. That was a good shot.
Yeah.
He wasn't really in a trap, but it was starting to get a little bit scary. And Rudy did a good job kind of giving it a chance. This is he's going to roll up on this and try to get him with the 4. It's a good shot. Now he's probably just going to do the same thing, scrape the 4, come back. He might even shoot it over to Rudy's side just to make sure it's okay. So now I wonder if the 1-5 is on, because if it was, you might even kick at it. You're down 3-0. It's not quite sitting to where you can kick and just kind of lay on it and knock them. Sometimes if they're sitting where I can kick into the 1 and just kind of knock the 5 a foot towards my hole and take a foul, but I don't think they're sitting that good to do that. So just something you definitely want to be aware of though when you're Skip is the location of that 5 and 1. I know that I wonder if he's looking at it. He's no. Okay, it seems like that 2-6 is really blocking a lot of banks for him.
I was just thinking about trying to there's something you can send at it,
Oh, this is good.
I guess that one
is good.
Yep, a good shot.
And it's a little unfortunate did he leave a keyhole for the cross bank? Nothing wrong with his shot selection. That had to be right.
Yeah, it's cue ball good.
Yeah, now here he should be able to run right towards the 2-6. And boy, he hit it really thick and slid.
Kind of doubled up, so it's not terrible.
Now, but Rudy might have this cross bank. It's tricky. It's a little kissable. You might need a little inside. It's hard to kind of miss the kiss here, I think. But I wonder if he missed the kiss. I think so.
Yeah, he may.
Wow.
And now that 1-5. I know the 13 goes probably, but the 1-5 can probably be thrown. If it's anywhere close to the corner, you could probably throw these in. And this is what Rudy needed. He was down 1-0. Looks like he's shooting the 13. Not the easiest shot. Oh, it's a heartbreaker. He was trying to come back for the 3-4-11. Wow. He elevated and drew back, and it just hooked right into the side pocket. And boy, that's a tough one. That's in a race to 3. When you're down 1-0 and a few balls like that was just that's really tough. That's really tough. It's a very difficult shot. Yeah, it's hard to second guess that. I mean, I would have had a hard time doing it. I might have just come back a little and just rolled on the 1 and sent the 5 towards my pocket, but it's really hard to second guess. If the guy could have gotten there, he definitely could have run some balls and he needed them. So, but now Skip has an opener. Now, is he going to – I think what I like doing is just baking the ball and then maybe banking the 2 over and playing safe. I don't know that I'm going to want to shoot this with an angle and speed to try to follow into these balls. That just seems like taking on a lot, especially when your opponent's been kind of struggling a little bit and you've got a good lead. I don't know that I drive the balls up table, but it definitely affects my decision making. But he is going to smooth into them. I guess you don't have to hit them all that hard. Yeah, good shot. Good shot. It's a little thinner than it looks on the screen. I know when you're at the table back cutting the ball like this, if you're going to be able to draw into these two balls, that'd be nice to kind of kill the cue balls. Or is he going to be able to roll to the side rail before the side pocket? See, he was steering the cue ball to make sure he got to the side rail. But it might have just been a tough cut. He just missed it. So, but he's fine. He's got the ball hanging.
Well, if he shoots this now, yeah, he can't. It must not be that throwable down.
No, I can't. Well, now they're opened up because he broke up. See, he broke them open on that follow shot. So
oh, yeah, it's different position. I'm sorry.
Nope, it's all right. Yeah, and I think, is Rudy at -1? Does he owe a ball or no? Was that because he? No. He made a ball.
Yeah.
And then he scratched. Yeah. Okay. So, pardon me. Skip is at the table. You know, now's the part where I'd start thinking about driving balls at the table, Josh. Like, I mean, I don't know that I'd really want to bank a ball. So he's just, this is fine. He's going to protect. Oh, look at this. He's going to protect the 8. And, man, this is a tough one. Rudy's at a tough spot. It's hard to even get down table. I mean, I think if I'm Rudy, I might just chip off the 2 and come to the bottom rail. That 2-6 has been tied up. See, if those balls were opened up, he couldn't be leaving you up there. And I think he needs to open up those balls at some point. But this is obviously a good shot. Obviously. Good shot. You might even give him this ball. I might even give him this ball.
I was thinking I would just, I mean, that's a good shot, but I might have just rolled it in there. But
you know what? He had just enough. If it was any tougher than that, I think that would have been prudent. But he had enough to confidently get that out. And now Rudy has made, like I said, he made a couple comebacks like this where he was stuck on the ball count. So, you know, one thing about him is he knows, it's your emotions tell you that it's hopeless, but sometimes your opponent goes into lockdown and they just get so passive that they don't put any pressure on and just leak off opportunities. Sometimes they do something a little aggressive and scratch, and all of a sudden you get back into it. So, you know, Rudy is obviously a experienced one-pocket player, and he's this deep in the tournament. The other thing in a race to 3, the worst you could ever be down is 2-0, 7-0. And that's not actually that bad. So it's like, it's not like you're stuck, some money game where you're stuck, 7-0 in a race to 9 or something. So this is a tough spot. I don't think you can really, is he going to shoot at this 4 ball? That's yikes.
With those balls doubled up like that, Demi, tripled up, I mean, it's like you
oh, no, this is Skip. I'm sorry. This is Skip. He's banking the 4. Okay, he's banking the 4. I'm sorry. I thought that was Rudy at the table. I'm doing it again. I got to be very careful here.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Good shot, Skip. All right, so Rudy is going to just follow through this 5 and get all the way to the bottom rail to avoid leaving the 1-ball bank, or just half ball hit it on his side. That's a good shot. Now he's definitely, but it's hard. You can't really bank at this to make the 4 because you're more likely to sell out a bank than you are to actually make the 4. So I think you probably just have to bank the 5 to where the 4 is and just kind of park them together. But then maybe a little left spin to get the cue ball down, so you're not leaving the 1. It's a little, or you could just forget about the 5 and go straight through the 1 and park them on the bottom rail. That's totally fine too. He did what I was saying, just kind of, he got it 2 rails and up. As long as you make sure you're not leaving a bank, that's the main thing. Well, I think Skip, now that 4 ball is in play, but he can't really run that many balls. I might have to bank at this. You can even swing the cue ball 2 rails towards the 12. You don't even have to sell out the 4. I think you got to go, even though you're up 5-0.
Yeah, no, it's pretty safe. Put the cue ball right there, and the 1 ball right there.
Yeah, it's a hard shot. And, you know, it's tough because taking out the one ball and not leaving anything, that's what he's going to do. Or is he going to cross the – yeah, no, he's just taking out the one. Well, good shot. Good speed. Very, very good speed.
It kind of helped his cause, too, to wiggle his open a little bit. So.
Yeah, those balls have been irritating me for Rudy's sake.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think Skip could just bank the 8 into the 4 and park him on the bottom rail. That's one option. He hit that really gently. I'm curious. I might learn something here. So what was the benefit of doing it that way as opposed to taking them both out of there? I'm not clear on that, but I guess it's completely predictable. You can't mess it up. I'm trying to understand. I always learn something. These guys are very experienced, and you know, I've played a little one pocket, and sometimes I have a pretty strong opinion on something. But there's a lot of times when there's just a lot of different shots, and we can all learn. That's why we're watching. Entertainment and education. All right.
It looks like
Now
Rudy's just inspecting his tip very closely. I don't know if something's wrong with it or.
Just gonna roll this 8 up. Well, I'll tell you what. If I played that good with a bad tip, I'd just knock my tip off before my matches. He's been playing pretty good. All right. All right. Now he's just getting them up table.
Now we can send them now. Well, I guess not.
He's
That's good too, you know.
Interesting. It's a very interesting. It's just like, you know, I think his idea is that if he shoots them with speed, there's always a chance that something opens up, and and when you park him below the balls, to be fair, look at what Rudy just had to do. He had to knock a ball up table. So when you park him behind the balls, his next shot is forced to keep driving balls up table. So there's some sense to that, you know.
This is pretty. Yeah, he can just kind of shoot there, kind of double them.
Wow. What a bank. Now the 3 ball, unless it's frozen, the 3 balls, but it's a little thin, and you don't have to get, do you have to go for this 3? I mean, it's tempting. A little low inside, real thin. Draw 1 rail into the 4 ball. Inside.
Seems like it's one taken off pretty far. Yeah.
The only thing is, what else do you do? I mean, it's like you can scrape the 5. You have to make sure you don't leave the 4 ball bank. He's got to scrape the 1 and try to keep the bank lanes clogged up. That's a pretty good shot. That's why he left the 5 there.
Cue ball and yeah.
But now, do you ever shoot the 3 high ball? Just try to 2 rail the 3 with high ball, and maybe he's too smart for that. That's a little bit funny.
Vicious.
Well, I don't think he meant it to leak out that much. I know that this is hard to make, but with all the balls tripled up and being able to send a cue ball, I think I might have to leg that 4 ball. He's looking right now the 5-1-6. But I think he's looking at that to figure out how likely it is that he's going to sell out on this. That's why he's looking at those balls. But he's not taking any chances. And that's frustrating when you're Rudy. You kind of watch your guy to like shoot the 4 and leave a cross bank.
Try to do something,
So that's probably when you know it's a good shot. But look at this. He wedged him on top of the 3, brought one to the spot. I think you have to shoot straight at this 4 ball here, but or off the half ball hit, back cut it towards the 3. But he doesn't want to shoot elevated, so he's going to shoot off these balls. And it's a good speed, man. It's a good speed. Oh. Yeah, Rudy can't really get anything going, man. He's just, oh, no.
Not good, yeah. He's going to...
All right. So what would Skip do here? I'm trying to figure out Skip's strategy here. I mean, The balls are open. You can't roll up table. You can't really protect your 5 if you shoot at the 2-1-6. I bet you he just shoots the 5 away. I bet you he decides that
wouldn't you want to just shoot the 5 away down? Because if you leave a cross,
it seems like it's more. It seems like you have to, unless you can lock it up, and it's like it's pretty risky to like. I mean, you can roll soft into the 10 or something, but it's pretty risky, and because you have to cover that 5 and the 4 and the 1, and you're up 6-0. I think I just banked the 5. He's psyching him. Oh, this is torture. This is torture. He's tortured the guy.
Well rolled him.
Oh.
Ooh. Yeah. Yep.
Well. So when you're Rudy in a spot like this, you just have to get real stubborn and say, well, if you're going to be patient, I'll be patienter. I'll just, if you're just going to be that patient, I can wait too. And sooner or later, if you're playing too passive, sooner or later, you're going to give me a move.
You'll get a shot.
Yeah, but when a guy is like right now, Skip is playing a strategy where he's trying to like kind of get Rudy to get off kilter. And I think Rudy's being very wise to like, I think Rudy's done a good job keeping his head. Actually, I think a lot of people would have gone for some really goofy stuff by now, but now he could cross the 1 to the side rail and just go up by the 3, maybe cover the, oh, wow. Okay. But, parking him on the bottom rail is not bad. Now here, this is where I start getting tempted to 2-rail something.
See, I'm surprised here. Well, that was interesting. That was a good shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the danger of leaving the guy next to a bunch of open balls when you're close distance. He can make a real accurate hit.
I was thinking the same thing, Dom. Like you got to start thinking about getting something going. I understand what you're saying about not giving it up or being too impatient, but like now I feel like if he has a chance, he's got to start sending stuff down there and trying to create some pressure.
Look at that bank. I mean, I know it doesn't look like much, but he had to get it clear through the area of the 2. That was pretty well done. And this isn't so easy to cross because you're definitely risking bringing the cue ball up into play, and there's some kisses, and that's a pretty good little shot. One thing I don't mind doing here is crossing the 1 to like just the middle of the bottom rail and letting the cue ball just come up towards the 4 softly. Just you don't have to move it all the way to your pocket.
Stick instead of getting it towards there.
Yeah. But the other thing is you can just come off the 2. That's a good move. Just come off the 2 half ball hit, kind of real safe. And now if I'm Rudy, I might just kick soft at the 3. I wouldn't mind covering that 1 or putting him in a tough spot. I don't know, or maybe he could come off the 6 and go towards the 3. But that's where I'd want him. Or behind the 2. That's something like that. But now if he can hit the 1, he can't hit the 1, can he? No. So now he could just bank at the 4 and just go straight through it. I don't see anything wrong with that. Of course you could just play safe off the 4 too, but the only problem is at some point, like if you have a really good shot, maybe at some point you go for it, but okay, not yet.
He's going to lay on top of the 3 here.
Yeah, I like this. He even got it with a 3.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to just kind of like, there's a lot of ways to do this. You could just kind of float right down the end rail. It's a little touchy speed shot. This one's harder to control the speed. People sometimes they don't get all the way to the rail. They give up a ball. It's easy to. I've sold out from here before.
Kind of floating down.
Yeah, sometimes I actually like to shoot the 3 into the 10 with a little bit of speed and draw to the side rail and slide all the way down. Just because it's like sometimes it's just easier to control where you like really kind of shoot it like a shot, instead of like this scrapey, leggy stuff where it's like you hit the 3 a little thick and it takes all your speed. But in theory, this should be pretty routine, but I've messed up this before. I think everybody is. I've come off the bottom rail and sold out to one ball. I remember doing that in a very key rack. I remember doing that hill at a tournament that we were at together, and I had to just keep the cue ball on the bottom rail, and the thing just. I'm telling you, it's touchy. Look at that. I mean, it was very tough to do.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, if you hit it too soft, you could literally not get a rail, and if you hit it too hard, you could bounce back.
Now here, you could thin the one towards, you're going to maybe chip it towards your pocket, go up to the top right corner again. Maybe, or you could Z-bank the ball too. That's always in play. But I kind of like this. He meant to hit it a little thinner. I think that's far enough away from the corner that he can almost do whatever he wants now. I think he needed to. I know he was trying to get the hook, and he didn't do anything really wrong. I just think I think it was better where it was. That's all. Is he going to leg at the 2, or is he just going to play safe? Bank it up.
Oh,
no,
he's going to get it, yeah. Nice shot. Legged it in.
Now he could maybe even bank the 4 or certainly the 5 ball. Kind of float up into the 6. But 7-0, up 1-0. Man, Skip has played solid.
That's a nice speed to hit that.
Yeah, look at it's getting all the way to the end rail. He hit it thick on purpose to avoid leaving any kind of cross bank.
He hit a really nice smooth shot there.
Yeah.
That was very controlled and nice.
And he is going to kick soft behind this and hope that. And man, it's tough playing a guy like Skip because it's hard to picture him doing anything really silly and like scratching and selling out, But you can't change your game plan. You just one shot at a time. Oh man, he got up with the 5. Oh, he's good. I mean, I know he can kick to the end rail, but he was just begging to be able to hit the edge of this ball.
It's a great shot by Skippy.
I'd kick at the 312. I'd be tilted.
Yeah,
like that combo's almost on. Oh, you can hit the edge of this ball. Oh,
but
man.
It was just not good.
Wasn't laying right, yeah. Well, good game.
2-0, and it is his break.
Okay, so here's the shot. I think he left a ghost shot on the. Did he leave the 5 ball? Could he shoot off the 15 and make the 5? I believe he can. It's aggressive, but you're down 2-0 when the ball goes. It's a very common shot, but he doesn't have to shoot it, and he's not even looking at it. He's going to kick soft beyond the 4, or bank the 14. Okay, that's probably fine, but that's a very good shot. Unfortunately, man, it's just not going his way. I think he left the keyhole where you could hit that ball, and
The 11.
Yeah, I think he might be able to hit. You're not going to make it or anything, but you can at least chip it on your side. Even if you can only thin it, you can even thin it and zigzag your cue ball up table or drag your cue ball up table. But he's not. He's looking at the 14. He must not be able to. Oh, I'm looking at the 5. Oh boy. Well, this is what Rudy needed. I know he doesn't have an easy shot. It's not like he didn't sell anything out here, but I think Rudy's got to be happy that 11's still there. And you could try to kind of soft curve into the 4. You could try to. You've got to. I would make. This is a pretty big inning. I would maybe take a minute here, but he could soft. See this? He shot real quick, and now he didn't really control the cue ball, and
I think he was. Going the stack maybe down there. He kind of like.
Oh yeah, maybe he was trying to do that shot. Yeah.
Cut it into the stack. Cut it and move it in the stack.
Well, as long as that 11 ball's there, Rudy's still in the driver's seat. And this was off Skip's break, so whatever he does, I really like this. I was going to say whatever he does, I'd be playing way cue ball, and that's for sure. That's cue ball. So if I'm Skip now, let's see how Skip. This is the first time Skip's really been up against it. This is probably the toughest spot he's been in. So he's keeping his cool.
Yeah.
Now, does this 4 ball? I mean, you could cut the 4 and go into the stack, and like not really sell anything.
It's got.
You don't even have to.
Too. You,
yeah.
If you make it, and you do run into the 7 or something there,
it's a pretty hard ball to make. You could also, but I might not even make it. I might just, he went all in on it. I don't know, man.
I know what you're saying. Like chip it in that direction and get your cue ball on the other side better.
I think I would have played cue ball at the 2, and then if the ball goes rail first off the 11, maybe you get a shot. But I think I would have been. But it's hard, when you get it. He played it, to be fair, I think it was frozen. I think he wanted to kind of play it like rail first with a little inside to make his make percentage and just go all out.
That part of it, yeah.
I think, in any case, I think he played it kind of like just let's go all out and make it. And when you're down 2-0, you have a shot with the balls open. I'll never blame a guy for shooting a shot you could, make and win the game with. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, this is a big shot. If he can get on the other side of a ball and oh my goodness.
Missed it.
He was trying to force the cue ball on the other side, and boy, Rudy, when you sell out,
well, that could be it. We'll see how he does. We got an eye on that.
Yeah, he shot pretty quick and loose, and I guess the 6 must go. As long as the 6 has a full pocket here, he could make the 11 still.
11, but
okay.
Yeah. Well,
this is good. You could float. You could try to get shape on the 7, and if you run into the 7, you've got shape on the 6. That's what I like. I think trying to get shape on the 6 to get a specific angle is a little touchy. I might just go all out for the 7. But either way, that's what he did here. I think he's sitting good now. Maybe even pick off the 1, but he's got a pretty good angle to hold.
Yeah, 7, 6, 8.
Probably 7, 6, 1 maybe. Yeah.
Well, now 1. Yeah, so, I thought he'd leave a little more angle and kind of just.
Yeah, I think he had more angle. I don't think he could hold it that much. That's why he just. Oh, look at that.
Well, that's good.
He's got a juicy draw stroke.
I was right for the wrong reason. Now he's nice. He can break into him. Well, he's got the bank though. So that's fine.
He can kick it at a 312 and throw it right in the pocket. Oh yeah. Take the 2, of course. I'm just having fun now.
All right. This is good.
Everything's funny. Oh no.
I did not see the last match, but when you told me about how he came back and he was down 2-0 here and facing a break, I'm like, I got good vibes with Rudy. I think he can make this a good set.
Well, now I'd kick the 312. I don't even care if they're dead. I would for sure. He's not doing it. I can't help myself. I see a combo and I want to throw it in the hole. But that's why I'm on the rail.
Thanks.
Well, let's see how Skip handles. Let's see how Mr. Conservative, Mr. Cool handles being down 7-0 after making a couple errors. Suddenly, he's making some suspect decisions. But his heart rate is 83, 84. He's like a reptile, man. He's not
down. He was floating 110 for a long time.
Yeah.
Now you see that ball went in, his heart goes up. Heart rate excited. I don't know.
Man, if I ever have a heart rate monitor, I'm gonna like purposely mess with my heart rate. I'm gonna like while I'm off screen, I'm gonna start doing jumping jacks and stuff. Everyone's like, man, he's nervous.
I don't know if you guys were watching Oscar Dominguez earlier today, but yesterday he was on the stream and his heart rate was 88 to 95, winning. And then today, when Rudy was beating him, his heart rate was up to 155 to 160. I mean, it really made a difference.
Well, Yeah. That's like, oh no, those balls kind of doubled up. Now you can bank the 2. That was kind of a bad roll. Now he's got a bank on the 2. He can park him beyond the 12, baby.
I think that's what bump into the 14.
What a
Yeah,
shot.
I'm looking forward to, like you said, how on this game to see how Skip handled it, you know? Now,
Yeah, I don't blame the guy for kind of getting a little leaky when you're down 7-0, but we'll see how he handles on the wrong side of the stack. And then, Rudy shot the shot and missed, and then Skip missed the ball trying to steer the cue ball. That's what happened.
Steer the cue ball, yeah. And then
I was trying to remember how it.
He got like probably 5 balls off that.
Yeah, so it was kind of one off an error by Skip. Rudy didn't like trap him or anything. He just kind of the guy made an error. But okay, so he broke the balls, and now that 4-12 looks really, really close. So if I'm Skip, I'm moving the 4-12 some which way. Like even if I have to take a foul, I don't know. It's tough. That 7 ball's right where I'd want to be. If that 7 wasn't there, I just kick soft in the 12 and take a foul. But I think you got to move those balls pretty quick.
That break was 6 miles an hour. Thank you, Renew Cali Solar, for sponsoring our break speed radar for tonight. We appreciate that.
Well.
Yeah, that's exactly what he needed to do. That was a very good shot. But now here's a fun shot. If you can hit the edge of the 5, you can actually zigzag off the left side of the 5 up to the top right corner. Oh, see, I'm going to tell you something. Maybe he couldn't see any of the 5. If you could hit any part of the 5, you can clip the 5, send the cue ball side rail, end rail, and play the 5 2 rails out to the middle of the table. That's a cool shot I learned from Jimmy the Kid, Jimmy Wedge, formerly number 5 on the Camel Tour.
On the Camel Tour.
Okay, sorry. Having fun here, Josh.
No, this is a nice opportunity. You don't even have to make it. Get it on the side rail.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that he couldn't hit the 5 and he made the right shot. I just a little something for the fans. All right, so now Skip has to do what? He can't leave a bank on the 7. That's the thing. That 7 is very, very bankable. And so whatever you do, so maybe you shoot straight through the 11 and follow the cue ball down to the bottom rail just to make sure that you cover up the bank with the 5-4. That's one option. He's looking if he stops him or how far he'd have to draw back to not leave that bank. He's well aware that just because you don't leave the guy a straight in shot does not mean you play the safe. And I like to say that for the audience. I'll tell them. I think that beginning one pocket players protect against straight in shots. Advanced one pocket players protect against banks, and great one pocket players protect even against moves. And so he.
You're gonna sleep in. You're gonna take a day to recover.
So I was just informed by the tournament director, guys, that the winner of this game will be playing Jerry Johnson, and he is going to be that'll be the hot seat match.
Okay. So what's Rudy doing here? He's got, he got away with that to a degree in that he didn't leave a straight in shot, but he left him on the wrong side of the pack with the initiative. He lost the initiative with that for sure. So now Skip needs to make he doesn't really have anything great. Can he shoot? You know what I like here? What about shooting the 10 into the 9 and drawing the cue ball right back to where the 1 is? What about just like shooting the whole pack?
Tim, I was thinking about the same shot off that. There's the 15 ball and drawing behind the 2 balls lower, you know?
Yeah, you can do either way.
Just kind of a sweeping shot, to kind of open them up and move them towards your side of the hole.
I think this
would open up 4 or 5 balls and kind of sweep them towards your side of the table and park your cue ball down where you don't have a good shot. Yeah, now Rudy can jam the 10 at the 12 or the 14 at the 12-1 rail and drag his cue ball up. He's the one that's spearing balls towards. Like, look at this. Yeah,
I mean, I really. I think that Skip was guilty of being. I think he's being. Listen, I'm a conservative player. Some players have even called me a nit, but at some point, aggression is needed, and I think he had a chance to drag. Like you said, if that combo was on, which apparently it was, then you need to drag your cue ball to the end rail. But you could definitely have pounded a bunch of balls towards your side there.
I like the idea of playing to kind of create pressure if I can sweep half the rack over to my way and kind of protect the cue ball, like I feel like good things happen after that, you know?
Yeah, but now, he only got one out of that. Now here he might be able to do something similar. Like you could maybe shoot a bunch of balls your way and kind of drag the cue ball into the 5. Like you could shoot the 15. Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on. Am I going the wrong way? No, he's playing. He just opened up balls on his side, but
kind of wiggled them and kind of, yeah.
I mean, that's good news is you're never leaving a bank there, but that's not bad. Not bad there. I can't.
I think I like having the balls open too. That's all. Like playing one pocket. Maybe I'm a little bit.
You're a 9-ball player. You don't like the scraping game.
I don't like the scraping game. So if I see a chance to kind of sweep the balls open and over, I just feel like, okay, let's create a bunch of pressure. But
power one pocket, we win the game. For those.
That's kind of it. Yeah, sort of.
Got Frost.
My own Hulk smash kind of way.
Who knows? But we win the game. Who's seen the power one pocket?
Yeah,
those stories.
If you know we win the game.
Let's hear in the chat for Scott Frost. We win the game. All right. Well, to be fair, I was a little bit too critical of Skip for that one shot where I felt like he could have opened the balls, but he's only down 1-0, and the balls. He's managed to get a ball set up on his side now. So
yeah, yep, they're all. He did it.
He's showing me. He says, "I'm going to scrape my way to the cash.
I'm gonna wiggle these balls open to my side one at a time.
2 inches at a time. They're creeping their way like a glacier. They should call him the glacier because the balls just creep over to his pocket.
Exactly.
It's true, man. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You need get a time-lapse camera on him. It'll look explosive. And I'm just having fun, guys. I'm not making fun of this guy. He's a hell of a player, if I can say that word. I'm very impressed. Very, very, very effective.
Great. Yeah, he's playing very, very. He's playing great.
They got to be having fun, man. Deep in a tournament, it's always fun to be on a stream, playing for money, taking off champions.
And when I was talking, I wasn't even talking about him or his choices. I was just saying, kind of, for people listening or your opinion to see how you feel about doing things a little differently. It wasn't big on him or his style.
Yeah, for sure. Now he's okay. So now Rudy's in a bit of a trap. He's down 2-1. He's shooting quick. He must have a really good half ball hit to go into the bottom rail with left spin. And oh man, he just went for the bank. Now, I think that was a spot where I might have taken a little bit more time. I think that was a pretty big shot in this set. So even if that's the shot you ultimately go for, I just don't like. It looks like it was kind of a desperation shot, and I'm not saying it was. Maybe he just felt really good on it, and he shoots quick and loose. But it just felt like you're kind of betting the game and actually the tournament on that shot. And before you decide to bet the tournament on it, you might consider alternatives or maybe even aim the ball. So, and I'm sorry, Rudy. I'm a believer, man. Come on. I'm having fun. It's late. We're going to be here all night. I got to have a little fun. Guys, I would have lost 24-0 by now against either of these players. So trust me, I have mucho respect for Rudy. He took out Oscar Dominguez. I wouldn't. If you put me in the rig with Oscar Dominguez, I just concede.
Speaking of Oscar Dominguez and conceding, Oscar just came over and had a chat with me. He let me know that he's heading home for the night. He was on the B bracket, and he was scheduled to play Little Al next on a different table, not on the stream table.
What a shot.
And out of respect, Oscar's conceded that match. This is Little Al's tournament, and so he's just let Little Al move forward on the B side.
Awesome. What a man. Oscar Dominguez. I tell you, man, he's a class act all the way. And I'm really happy he runs Hard Times. What a great pool room. I'm sorry we're not out there, Josh. I wish that we could have go back in time and play our cards different, and then we could be dogging balls on the stream. Actually, I wouldn't have made it this far. So, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Skip is making an unbelievable run here, and 3, 6, 9. He needs 8. So does he just need one more? No, he needs 2 because Rudy has a ball.
2, 4, 6, 8.
I'm sorry, guys. I lost track of score here. So we're at 6-1.
I think it's 6-1. Yeah, I believe. And I think this is where he can either take out the 9, or he can back cut the 15 and go into the balls, or he might even have a shot at the 2. Boy, that's a tough one to shoot. I think I'd bank the 10 before I cut the 2 ball myself. I think you can bank the 10 and float down behind the 9. That's what I think. But who knows? Well, I mean, you just cut it a little bit. The cue ball just follow. I mean, this is a pretty standard shot. You know, you just got to play the cue ball mostly, and the 10 just floats towards your hole and stops somewhere in that bottom quadrant, that first diamond quarter, you know. But if you can cut a ball in, go back and forth. It's a Jason Shaw shot. He just shoots this in like it's a... What a shot.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't like...
Pretty well done. Boy, is this 7 hard. I like the 15 maybe, or just take out the 9. Or do you go for the 7? Do you just say, I'm going to send the 7? I don't know, man. I don't think you shoot the 7 here. I like the 15.
Kind of dribble the 15.
Now, this is one of those phony safeties where you try to play it thick to avoid. You still sold out the 9, and you might have left the bank anyway. But, okay, so this is actually a big chance for Rudy, because this is, I mean, the last thing, he's not even looking at this stripe. Yeah, now he is. This ball cuts all day. You got to shoot this ball, then the 10, and then you have a bank on the 15. You got to make these 2 balls, make the 15, give yourself every chance. And then if you get above the 1-5, you can roll the 1-5 and just put the 5 down where the 9's at, wedge will be on the 1. I mean, you're not going to run out the game, but this is a big chance, man. You were looking at shaking the guy's hand, and now, do you think he crosses the 15 here? Nah, he's going to get a good shot after the...
Pops the 10 and then draws it a little bit, or is he going to go off the 5?
He'll be hitting the 5 here.
He can't get it drawn far enough to get a shot on the 5 or off the 1.
Yeah, I think you got to make the 10, come off the 5, bank the 15. If you hit this easy, you might even open him up and then be able to... He could get on the 15 and make the 15. I'll tell you what, as far as comebacks go, if I had to bet on one player to make a comeback from here, down 2-1, down 7-2, look at this. He's going to go for it, man.
Yeah.
And this one you play at pocket speed. You can't you could go all out and just say, hey, I need them all. Let's just bet the game on it. Boy, he might do that. He did that on another game. He played it pocket speed and he made it, but he got,
Yeah, he killed for another 3 inches right there.
Yeah, now he wishes he'd gone all in. But he's still in play. Look at this. He's got the 8, but you can't really protect against the 7 and the 5. Or can you? Can you go with high ball, 2 rails at the back of the 5? Look at this. If he can beat the corner, he can. Come on, 8 ball. I'm sorry, I'm not rooting. I'm kind of rooting for Rudy for this game. Look at this.
Rudy. No, it's because of Rudy.
yeah, of course.
Low hanging fruit. Well, this is it, man.
Oh, man. Smooth stroke. He draws the ball good, too. Look at how smooth that came back. So now he's going to play shape for the 1-railer or the 2-railer? Probably the 1-railer. Yep. Okay. Well, this is a funny one. He's going to have to cut it just a little. Do you play it with speed and try to pop it at your hole? Or do you float it and but if you float it, you got to bake it short.
Seems like you can't really. Seems like it's like.
Oh, it's so scary. You could 5-rail it. Just stick your cue ball right there. That's reckless. Okay. Actually, that's in the way of the 5-railer. Okay, he's cutting it. Pocket speed, and this ball's going to the long rail, the long rail. Freeze. Oh.
Yeah. That was not ideal.
Oh, no. Now, notice how fast Skip is shooting. I don't think he's making the ball. When somebody shoots that quick, I don't think they're making the ball. That's just my opinion. Yeah, he really needed to. Oh, that's such a big shot. But now oh my gosh, the suspense. Rudy's got a spot shot, but there's a ball hanging.
123 now. His heart rate's gone up. No.
Oh. Rudy is putting the Rudy comeback on him, man. And
that's what I was saying, Demi. I'm telling you, live read, bro. I'm like, this Rudy's the guy that's gonna do it.
This spot shot, man. I'm curious to see how long he takes before he shoots it. He's taken a second. He's composed. He addressed the ball. Took a deep breath. Oh,
I like
66 players yesterday at 1 p.m. We're down to 10.
I'll tell you what. Rudy was down 2-1, and he was down 7-3 or 7-2 on ball count. He snuck that game out with a Efren-like run, and now he's got to get out of this break. And I look for him to take a minute. You can't leave you got to be careful here. He's shooting quickly. He's just going to stick him on the top of the stack. Okay. He shot very quickly. I'm on certain shots that are very, very important. I like to give myself a couple different choices and then think about which one I like the best and then make sure I execute it well. Now, what I like about it is he's going to shoot quick. At least he shot a shot that was pretty foolproof. I like shooting shots that you can't really mess up, and that shot was hard to mess up. So I'll give him that. Boy, now Skip needs to really, really, really bear down here, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with taking a foul. But whatever he does, he needs to go a few innings here without selling out immediately because it's really easy to just not really show up. Just kind of not even show up and just kind of
2-0 and now in a big ball count and now it's 2-2 and yeah, I mean it's what you're saying, Dem. You got
okay. So they are playing with a 3-foul rule, which is very important. But what I would do is I would take a second foul and I'd roll the cue ball all the way to the top left corner and stare at the guy. That's what I would do. And maybe that's what I would do. Or if you could drag off the 14 and bank the 14. Well, he's zigzagging it up table because he didn't want to shoot over a ball. Whatever. I like this shot. I know he's on 2 fouls. I know he owes 2, but I really, really felt like taking a foul and rolling the cue ball up there. Now Rudy's got to get behind these balls, and even if he does, he might be leaving banks on something. I know the 6 ball technically goes, and if you roll the 6, you might even scrape the 5. You got to look at it, but it's pretty hard to pull the trigger on that hill when all the balls are open. But you know what? When you look at how tough it is to get out of the spot, that 6 ball, if you could just bunt roll at the thin side of the 6, you're going to come off the 5. He's going to do it. Boy, tell me when it's over.
You got your hands covering your eyes.
Yeah. He might have even been rolling at the 5. I don't know.
I don't. It didn't look like he was. Yeah.
It's hard to know because it would have looked the same way if he shot.
He may be trying to. Yeah, I think he would have hit a little hard if he's trying to.
Now, if you're Skip, you could bank the 6 and go. Now he's going behind the 12. Okay, he didn't really get there. But I wouldn't have minded even putting him back up at the top left again. Just banking the 6 or scraping the 6, one rail at the stack and going back in the top left corner. I really like putting the guy up table.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just in general, rule of thumb, especially when the balls.
We're seeing, I don't know if you guys have been watching the heart rate monitor, but coming into this last Hill game, his heart rate's gone up about 20 points.
Yep. What about scraping the 12 with a little bit of right spin and zigzagging back up to the top left corner now? I kind of like that. I'm just obsessed with the top. Top. What about an open hand basset towards the right hand corner? Okay. See, I just felt like that was a good spot. I don't know. Now he's going to do what I said. Oh, no, he's not. Oh, no.
Yeah, it is a great spot up there. But when those balls are because you just get so much coverage on top of everything. When you're
now here, that combo, is he not even looking at this 2-5-12? I mean, I don't know if it's good or not, but it just Well, he played that pretty well. Okay. Well,
I'd like to see, if that 8-ball, because can you scrape the 10, or is that not?
you could definitely go rail first and scrape the 10.
But
you could definitely go rail first.
The left side of the 10 for the 8.
This is a big inning. I don't like moving the 8. That's such a good ball for you. I know he left the. Sorry, Skip. Tough one, man. He could stick him on the 7.
Back of those balls?
Boy, I wish he played more cue ball than that. I wish he'd played. I felt like the right move was to elevate and pop it at those balls and draw into the 7.
And kind of play at those balls behind him.
Yeah, you can't leave your man the full cue ball this close to a group of balls and expect to get. He was trying to make it and run out, but I just. All right. Well, now Rudy's in a bit of a trap, actually.
Well, he's gonna.
Just doing something simple. But now, he's got options here. He could shoot this ball off the bottom of the 2 towards this hole, but I think he's just going to keep it real simple. You could shoot into the 12 here and just pull back. And he was trying to do what I said. It just didn't lay quite. You got to know what the priority is at each time, and sometimes the priority is the shot, and sometimes the priority is the cue ball. And look at this.
Nice.
Wow. Okay. Well, now what about shooting the 10 and bringing the cue ball straight across table? But then you give up the 9-ball banks and all this stuff. If he can hit this ball and scrape off it, very soft. Don't want to give up. Oh, no. Well, this ball can be banked. You could follow into the 8.
I might have set that up table, depending on that.
Well, you know what I like is banking the 15 at the 7. What about banking the 15 at the 7 and punching the cue ball off the bottom rail up to the side rail? Just popping it. I like popping that. Okay. Hill, people, sometimes he wants to play it careful, but I just feel like he lost any initiative there. I don't think he has any initiative left. Boy, I think Rudy has the same 2 options. If he can't, these diamonds are hard to twist banks on, but he could definitely bank this ball at the stack. But he went for the bank, and boy. All right. I don't know. It's hard to argue if he made it. He was very close to making it. He actually over-twisted it. All right, so Skip, you've survived quite a few tough spots here on the Hill. I think now is the time to shoot these balls out of there somehow. 5. He's going to kick and stick on the 15. That's great. Just do that. Open up the 7 on his side.
Kind of wiggle them up a little bit for himself.
Yeah. And I really feel like Rudy had a couple chances to put him in a lot more heat, but unfortunately he was playing all object ball in a couple spots and never really covered the cue ball when he needed to, and now it's kind of back to neutral. So, which is fine. I'm not betting on anybody. I'm not going Billy and Cardona on this match.
That figured to happen.
It figured to happen. For those listening, there was a match where Billy was doing commentary. It was very clear that he'd bet on the match, and it skewed the commentary somewhat. It was like, why is he shooting that? He can't. Anyway, very, very good times. All right. Back to the match. Skip. You know what? The 8-2 is doubled up. That's pretty important detail. And I'd be looking to put the guy, guess where, Josh? In the top left corner somehow. Because when you got the 8-2 doubled up, if there was a way to bank the 9, you got to bank the 9 towards the 11-3 and send them up to the top left. That's kind of what I like doing, is just trying to. The 4-ball goes.
Hey, Aaron, I think that he owes 2, by the way.
Thank you. Skippy owes 2.
I think Skippy owes 2, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
He was on 2, and he's got it on the second time.
This is tricky. Is he jumping over the fort? Yeah, he did.
Oh, God, what a shot. What a
Oh, we got one for the highlight reel, Aaron. He just jumped
clipped.
over the ball.
It's clipped.
He jumped Drew like Efren on that stroke of genius or whatever they call it. Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, drop.
Oh.
Skippy,
Okay, now a
is
ball comes up to the
perplexed.
spot. Okay. All right. So now you've got the hanging 7 ball.
-1, yeah.
You've got to get on the 3 ball. You have to get another shot. What's the best way? I like going high inside 3 rails, cutting the 7 into the bottom part of the pocket. Oh, he drew it across. It's just harder. I just feel it's harder to control that way. He's happy to get that 1. I really feel like, so listen, when you have a hanging ball and you have a shot, it is so imperative that you get on the other side of your balls and get, it's the difference between getting 1 and getting a bunch. And there's better ways to do it than others. I think shooting with low outside there, it can work, but I think if you followed it with high and a little insiding on 3 rails, I think it's much more consistent to get on that ball. But Rudy has a great draw stroke and it's a routine shot. I just felt like maybe he just needed to give that a little bit more respect or attention because I felt that was a big chance. I know it only looked like he gets 1 more, but sometimes you get on that ball and then you get on another ball and there's the 5 was on the rail and maybe, he might have, look he ran 7 and out from somewhere last rack that was like out of nowhere. So who knows if he could have run 4 or 5 balls there some which way, that would have been pretty big. But okay, nevertheless, he's banking a ball here. He's going to play up for and what a great bank that was.
Yeah, that was a great bank.
And I'm sure he's playing this combo. He doesn't have to, but I don't think there's a bank up table that's any good. So he's looking at maybe if something passes. The problem is your kind of cue ball's a little leaky.
Yeah, your cue ball, if you get up past that.
What about can you play the 3 off the 12? Is that in play? He's just looked at it maybe, or the 3 off the 14 rather. Is that possible? It's a little risky because you're going to leave banks, but if you could draw the cue ball behind the 11 and get something near your hole, there's a lot of good ways to make that work. Oh, he went all in on the combo, and did those balls lock up for him? Has he been? I think those balls locked up for him.
No, I think he can. He can't shoot that combo back, and no.
I think the 3 is tied up on the
4. The 3 is tied up on 14.
Yeah, I think it's locked on the 14.
Yep.
Boy, I don't know. I think Skip has to play a little conservative here. There's just nothing. It's just not laying. That 11's such a tough cut.
That's what
you only get 1. You're risking the game.
I don't know. Yeah.
You might just have to edge this ball or follow down through it. Boy. No. That's going to be a bank at the 4 ball and then play the cue ball right at the 10. You don't really even worry about the 4 ball. You just send the cue ball, float the cue ball towards that chalk on the right-hand side rail. Or this is okay, but what I like about the 5 balls, you get cover. See, if you open up the 3-14, then you leave the 13 ball bank, you leave some banks. They open up these balls, but I feel, okay, he's at the table. He knows best. And I don't know. It's just, I would have much rather played cue ball up by that chalk. And okay. Yeah, he was getting down pretty quick. I'm like, what's he doing that fast? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, come on, Skip. Let's see the heart rate monitor. Where's the heart rate monitor? Did it explode? I don't see it anymore. Did it explode? Okay, it's 103. For a minute, he was having a heart attack. That would be a disaster.
He got it.
Oh, man.
He feathered right off the floor. That was epic. He's in great shape now. He can get back on.
It's tough to get. Yeah, this is tough, though. It's hard to make this ball in good shape.
David. Yeah.
You know what I like, though, is he didn't miss the ball trying to force anything. That's what I like.
Yeah.
So now, does he have to spot one at the end of this inning? If so, you got to be aware of that.
No, because because he made the one that he 0-2, he made one, and then Rudy made one in his pocket.
Oh, okay. Oh man, these guys bank so good.
Yeah.
Very nice. Now, do you bank the 8 and just into stuff and just he can't bank anything if it doesn't go. He's looking to see what goes, but maybe what about pocketing the 2 and just rolling forward a foot or 2? I don't know. You don't want to leave the 8, but if you left them by like second diamond or something.
Second diamond, yeah.
Just a thought.
Yeah, because if you start chipping stuff up table a little bit, you're in a good spot right now with those 4 balls in front of your pocket area. You might be doing your shot here, though.
Yeah. Look at that. All right. 3, 6, 9 on the table. The ball count is right. 4-2 skip. And obviously, if Rudy's like even money from down 7-2, so a 2-ball ball count. He feels like this. He feels like he's got a lead right now. He is unconcerned. This is going to be a fun game to watch, man. I mean, it's been a fun set to watch. These guys have both played very well, and got to be careful here. You're leaving a 3-ball for sure. Okay. I mean, he didn't. Not for sure. He could have covered him with the 8 again, but he shot very quick. I'm learning about myself that I shoot really slow because everyone seems like they shoot quick to me.
Yeah. I was picking that as a team.
But see what he did is he got down to the shot, then he got off it and shocked and addressed the ball, and he got down and made it. So maybe I shoot slow, but maybe I just, maybe that's kind of right. There's a right time, okay. All right. Well, yeah, Skip can't really do anything aggressive here with the 11 because of the 6, 15, 8. So, you know what I like here is maybe chipping the 15 into the 8 and with high left, just left spin coming off like half a ball off the left side of the 15, using the left spin to zigzag your cue ball down table. Just that 15-8's been kind of an irritation. I might want to move those balls myself. I think you could cut the 15 into the 8. The 8 banks cross table, and the 15 kind of like goes to the head rail. You can kind of zigzag your cue ball. That's what I like. I think that's maybe what he's doing. Did I call something? Just like this. Yeah. Just like that. I called something. All right. So now Rudy's up. I mean, again, this is not only did he clear that 8 ball, but now Rudy's in a funny spot because there's a lot of threats and he can't just casually roll on something. I mean, everything's movable and bankable. You don't want to. Everything's open. It's a little tricky here. I mean, I guess rolling on the 11 is kind of safe in terms of like that's the most easy thing to execute, but you feel like you're going to leave the guy.
The 10 here? Oh no.
Oh, so he stopped his ball so that he didn't go forward and leave a bank on the 15. But then, unfortunately for him. So even if that ball didn't come to the spot, he would have had a bank on the 8 where he could have played it with high left. He still might shoot that shot. That's the problem. I mean, actually, I'll tell you that shot that I was talking about, that carrying off the 15 really did its job. And now because the 8's not there, now he can play this bank. But if he doesn't, sometimes if it's one of those shots where the only way to get safe is to miss the bank, that is no bargain. The other shot he has is he could what about just banking the 15 onto its side and playing the cue ball up on the 2? That's another option. I'm obsessed with that high left corner.
Draw it a little bit, yeah.
That allowed him to go all out for the bank. But now the problem is he kind of lost. That was a good ball for him. And okay, now I feel like Rudy's going to shoot through the 10 and put him up on the end rail. Clear the 10. Park him on the head rail. Seems reasonable. You know what? I wonder if you could 4-rail that ball. Is that insane? On these diamond tables, if you just bank straight at the 10 with a high ball, that's probably crazy town. But I feel like the 10 goes to the end rail, side rail, between the 6, 8, but to the bottom rail, it comes right up to where the cue ball's at. Okay. I'm telling you, nothing wrong with this, though. I just saw it. Just those diamonds. That shot lays good on a diamond. But this shot was pretty good. Now Skip can shoot the 8-15, right? Shoot straight at the 8. No, is he banking at this ball? Those balls must not go. Boy, I don't know. Well, he was just trying to play.
No,
he was trying to play cue ball.
Damn, I think he was banking at it, thinking he was going to leave him behind the sticks up by closer to the 11 range, you know.
That
Cut it.
I'm a big Skip fan, but I think you'd agree in retrospect. You'd agree that probably wasn't warranted there, especially when. Oh wow! I guess those balls must not have gone. Maybe? I don't know. I'm so confused right now.
Well, if the cue ball was up towards the 11 when he hit that bank, and they were kind of all packed up and weird. Like, there wasn't like a great easy shot there. And if he put that ball up front.
Yeah, I think Skip's got to be feeling a little happy to get a reprieve on that one.
The governor called.
Yeah, they pulled the switch and there was a power outage. They blew a fuse on the electric chair. Okay. This is very interesting now. I think now the 11 ball does play pretty good.
Yeah, get the cue ball over.
Yep, and he might, if this goes, he gets a couple maybe.
Yeah.
Well, this ball definitely crosses. It's nice, a couple inches off that rail. But I don't think you could really play shape. I think you want to play this pocket speed, and that's what he did.
Yeah, great shot.
Good shot. And now he may have a Z bank on the 15. You could follow the cue ball one. Oh no, you got to protect the 12-6. What else do you have? I mean, maybe you just stop your ball and zigzag the 15, or do you just cut it in? I guess he could just kind of cut it in. I guess he had a little bit. He almost wedged him on that 12. That would have been pretty juicy.
Yeah.
Look at this, 44, midlife crisis, sailboats. We got action. Sheesh. Who would have thought this would have been this close after the way that set started? Well, is this a scratch if he banks the 6, or can he get the cue ball to the side rail? You know what he could do? You know what he could do is play all cue ball, Josh. Just play a half ball hit with a high right, get the cue ball to the side rail behind the 15, and forget about the 6. Who cares about the 6? Just play the cue ball. If he happened to have got him behind the 15, yeah.
A really big trap.
Yep. He played that well. He didn't.
By the first time.
Well, this is interesting because it's frozen or very close to frozen. You know what shot John Schmidt, I learned from John Schmidt, is a rail first shot here where you go rail first and tickle it thin. I don't know that he has to do that. Oh, he just stopped on the ball. Sometimes if you go rail first and just clip the ball, the cue ball works its way 3 rails up towards the 8. You chip that ball across table. Okay. He's going here. And he could have hit that 6 a little thicker and sold it out, but it's not a bad shot to shoot at. You know, he hit it well. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, he did well. Good speed to get the 8 so that where the guy can't risk banking the 12 because of the 6-8. So now get to see an end game. All right. What about it? Can you bank the 12 here? That seems pretty thin.
But yeah, I always think about just banking the 12 over towards the 9 and putting the cue ball back.
Yeah, that's right. Keep it simple.
Simple, yeah.
The other thing is, yeah. Then looking at the screen from here, that's way too thin.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good shot, Josh. Just cross the 12 into the 9 and go up table. Making sure that you get all the way to the end rail in case you happen to knock in the 2 some which way.
Unless the 15 is it, you can't 2 rails.
But he's kicking behind these balls. I actually thought about that, but I actually just felt like there wasn't. It's not like you get him in a trap. Even if you get him there, he's just going to scrape the ball and put you on the head rail. I just didn't really see the upside. and the downside is you give the guy options here. He could bank the 6, maybe. Because I'm assuming the 8 was a scratch if you leave him. I don't know. Maybe it's hard to cover the 12. And the 12 doesn't bank. I don't think. Just looking at the 6, but hey, it lays a little rough. Maybe you could bank the 6 with the inside. Yeah, but then I just feel like your accuracy on the shot is so poor. You kind of feel like you want to do something, but maybe it's better just to, he banks really well though. Yeah, he did it with the inside, and I like the way he played it. It's a little thick, so it didn't there was no way he was giving up like some cross bank on that shot. So I like the way he played that. Well done. Now, if you're going to take this ball out, I like to cut it on up towards the 8, hit half a ball with high right and just kind of chip it towards the 8. Because otherwise you're going to leave banks. You need the 6 ball to be out in front of the side, exactly like this.
Yeah, just like a little kill shot with your side.
Yeah, like a killing machine, a little killing machine.
A little killing machine.
Per canister. All right. Now, that was exactly right. I mean, that's what if that 6 had gone a little further and doubled up, he'd be banking this 12 by now. But you know what? He hit it with just the soft enough touch. He made sure he didn't leave a bank on the 6, but he made sure he didn't leave a bank on the 12. That is.
All right, Josh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Demetrius we just lost his connection, so he might be back in a second, okay?
Okay. Well. Rudy's in good shape here. Did a great shot there, rolled it in, and did not follow it up.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we're there now. We got you.
Okay. I something happened. Somebody must have hit a really good shot because I blacked out there for a second.
Blacked out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where are we at? Is it 5?
Well,
it's 6.
Yeah.
5-5. 5-5.
Well, Skip hit kind of a weak bank on the 12, and then left Rudy. Rudy rolled in the 6 beautifully, got kind of close to the 8, and then kind of mushed the 8 a little bit and left the bank. And Skip.
All right. So now
here we are.
So now Skip's trying to figure out if he pockets this 2, is he going to leave a cross bank? He's trying to go spin rail first behind the 9 and wedge him, and he didn't do it. So now he sold a cross bank on the 12. Little scary though, because you're not going to get the cue ball to the top right corner if you cross this 12. So you are risking the spot shot. And I don't think that your make percentage on the 12 is good enough to go all out here for the spank. So I don't know that that's the right shot. But boy, especially shooting on the jaws, this is so hard. Yeah, that was the problem. Is but I mean, not to say he sold anything great out here, especially with where the 12 is. It's kind of you're caroming right towards it. You know what I might look at here is shooting a 2-railer on the 15 or something, and kind of that's what I like. What about just shooting through the 15 and
trying to stick them on the 9?
Now I'm getting really creative here, but I mean, you could almost shoot the 15. Bank the 9 1 rail, jam the 15 2 rails, just fram into the 15 with a punch follow and stun run through the cue ball to the side rail. I'm looking at these 2 balls up here. Whatever I'm doing, it's going to involve the 15 9. I think. It looks like the 15 ball. It looks like you could just stun 2 foot, go right through the 15, 2 ball widths, and park will be on the 9. Just bank that ball anywhere on your side of the table. But okay. He doesn't like it. He looked at it at least. He just doesn't like it. But boy, I don't like the 2. Is he going for this? He's just going to try to make this?
Make the 2 and then kind of go behind there. And I don't know.
He's acting. Well, you can't draw to the side rail. I don't know what he's pointing there for. He's got to think that he's going to go into the 12 and but you're going to overcut this ball trying to get into the 12, and then it's going to come. You think if I overcut it, I'm not going to leave a bank, but then it goes 2 rails out, leaves a bank. And okay, well, he's going to prove me wrong here. He shot it. It's just, I don't know, man.
Left him in the 12 up there. Well, at least he got 2 on the spot.
That's right. At least he's got the spot covered.
But yeah.
What's your thought there on that? I mean, he spent a lot of time, Demetrius, lining that up. He was conflicted. And what do you think went wrong with Skippy on that shot?
Well, I think the selection was a little suspect. If you could hit the ball great and get penalized for it, then and then if you hit it bad, you get penalized for it. It's pretty tough. But easy for me to say. But it was a critical. I mean, it's your tournament, man, and you're shooting the spot shot thin, and you can make it and scratch, but. I don't know who's to say, man. Who's to say? He made the ball. So a little hard luck. I'm trying not to be critical because he's a great player. He made a great shot. Just tough. But nevertheless, now here you might want to make this ball and then follow in the 2, because if you make this and concede the 2 and leave it there, your man's on the hill. But I think he'd rather make the 8 and then follow the 2 in and keep your man at 6. What I expect him to do here. If there was some huge advantage to having him in the jaws where you felt like he was in a trap, then maybe you could see this ball and leave him at 7. But I don't think you want your man at 7. He's going to be very safe and go off the table. He hit little L. No, I'm just kidding. Okay.
Oh boy. Rest assured, Lil Al's fine, everybody. He's okay. He's all right.
Okay.
He's 78. He's doing good. He's doing good.
Now, I'm curious, is he going to play this safe, or he's playing this safely? He's going to just – okay, he's just going to do that shot. All right. No draw through the spot shots for him. Not up 6-4.
Although I will say regarding the cue ball, last weekend here, playing in a 9-ball tournament on the stream, Corey Dool took a cue ball to the kneecap at about 21 miles an hour. He was okay, though.
Sounds like there was a prop bet involved. I'm just kidding. Okay, so yeah. The kneecap is there. I can think of worse spots. Okay.
Exactly.
So he's gonna bank this 10. This is a really. Oh no, he's not. He's just doing this. Boy, I don't know, man.
Last thing on the kneecap thing. That was a clocked 21 miles an hour on the radar gun. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. So he got a little fortunate not to leave a better move here, leaving the cue ball in space. But he's going to have to just play this safe. And now, boy, I think that 2 ball is going to come 1 rail here. I don't think you can play it really at your hole. You might sell it to 10. But maybe you could just play the cue ball by the chalk and just play the 2 ball towards just inside the first diamond here. Boy, he's not even moving it. But now the guy, if you don't move it, then the guy doesn't even have a bank at the 8. I know it's not a good bank, but it doesn't mean it's not a bank. I don't know, man.
What do you do with the cue ball then if you bank the 8?
I'd use a stun follow and just stun the cue ball through the 8 to the end rail.
Yeah.
Yep, I'd take my chances. You try to miss it long and 4 rail it out of there. It's, a lot of good. I mean, that was all mapped out. He had that all mapped out. Okay. Now, legitimately, he can make the 8, get on the 10.
Can't get on the 10, 85 the door. Is it like to say back in the old days?
Look at that shot. What a great shot.
Yeah.
Z banked this one for show. No. Okay. This is a big shot, though, because we know that 7-4 shooting game ball. I know, but listen, if you don't make this ball, he can do to you what you did to him last game. But he knows that, and he swished the middle of the pocket.
Thanks again, everybody, for watching us here on our YouTube channel for Aaron's Pool Parlor. We hope you've enjoyed what you've seen, and we'll be back soon with more great videos for you to enjoy. Until next time, thanks for joining us.